Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to this next guitar lesson. Thanks for coming back. For this week, we have a really fun little lesson that we're going to basically be discussing how to get some kind of Hendrix-inspired rhythm guitar ideas. I've been thinking about some ideas for teaching a lesson on this, and I finally decided what better way to start teaching this and just starting out with a really simple power chord that everybody's going to know, switching it around a little bit, and then showing you guys how to start getting some of these rhythm licks within just a really simple little chord form that'll really add kind of a whole new dimension to your rhythm playing and really get you into kind of that Hendrix territory, where there's kind of this big mesh of like lead and rhythm playing, and it really just adds just a new level of kind of sophistication and coolness to your rhythm playing. So yeah, let's get into it. I'll show you kind of the main form we're going to be using, and then all the little kind of rhythm lick ideas we can get based around this main form, which is just all based off a power chord. So let's get into the lesson. Alright guys, so we're going to be in the key of F for today, so just one flat. The reason I chose F is it just kind of puts us right here in the middle of the fretboard for this lesson, and it's just going to be a nice comfortable place to play. So instead of starting with a standard power chord, which is, probably everybody knows this shape right here. Okay, and that's just 8 of the A with the pointer, 10 of the D with the ring, 10 of the G with the pinky. Okay, we're going to change this shape around a little bit. It's still going to have the exact same notes, but it's going to be played differently. So now our pinky is going to 8 of the A. Okay, now our pointer is going to 5 of the G, and our middle is going to 6 of the B. Okay, so still the exact same chord, but it sounds slightly different. The notes are still made up the exact same way, it's still the same chord, but the timbre of D and G are different than G and B. So there almost sounds like there's a little bit more space in this power chord. It's just slightly more open sounding, and it has a really cool sound to it. So that's just even the first part of this. You can just practice playing a power chord like that. It might be a little hard to hear over the camera since it doesn't have the best microphone in it, but it definitely, as you experiment with this, it definitely adds a little bit more air into the sound of the power chord, and I think it just sounds really cool. Okay, so you could bring that up to B flat. So now our pinky's at 13. And back up to where we started. Okay, so that's the shape we're going to be using. Now you're going to want to get comfortable playing this two different ways, with the pinky on the low bass note and the ring finger on the low bass note. When you're using your ring, it's a little bit bigger of a stretch, but the reason we're going to use the ring will become clear in a little bit. Okay, so why are we playing a power chord like this? What's the purpose? Well, first of all, like I explained, it sounds cool. The timbre is different, there's a little more space in here, and it's just a nice sound. Okay, secondly, it leaves a lot more note choice open to get that kind of Hendrix-inspired sound. Okay, now the first just small idea that we're going to do is hammer the ring on to the 7th fret of the G. So that's going to just be above the pointer. That's just the first idea. Just moving it down to E flat. So that's just the first idea to get a little bit of movement. Super simple idea. But it sounds cool at any rate. It just has a really nice little move in there. It just adds a little bit of, basically just movement into the chord. So that's the first idea. Okay, now the second idea that we're going to use is we're just going to move that pointer finger. For right now, we're just only playing the 3 notes. So we're starting with that. The second move is we're just going to move our pointer finger so it's now doing a bar on the D and G. And now we're just going to get a little move right here. Okay, just hammering on. So we're going from 5 to 7 on the D. Okay, so that's cool. Now we can also just, take like our pinky off, do a little hammer on and pull off from 5 to 7 on the G, holding down 6 with the middle finger of the B. Then come down, do that little double bar, 5 to 7 to 5, hammer on, and then a pull off on the D. Okay, so you can hear that's really cool, and you don't have to do that. Like, that's a little rhythm lick, I'd specify that as. But you don't even have to do that. You can just be. Okay, so you can kind of. Those are just two little ideas you can kind of freely use. And at the end, another quick idea is I just went 8. Down to 5, back up to 8, just to get some movement in the bass. Which is really cool as well. So you've got all these little ideas in here that really I would just recommend putting on a drum track or a metronome just to hang out with this chord for a while. See how many different ideas you can make out of it. You're going to find little rhythm licks that work for your playing and you think sound cool, but just hang out with this idea, get really comfortable with the idea. Just see how many different ideas you can come up with. I really like that little idea where I'm going 5 to 7 to 5 on the D, doing that little double bar, and then going down 8, 5, then back up to the original chord. Super cool. So that's the first part of this idea. And again, move that around in some different places. And this is in a major key too, so we're just thinking of this kind of like a major chord right now. We'll get into minor chords in a later lesson. Last idea for these middle notes right here is you can also take the middle finger off and just do a slight, just a 2-finger bar on the G and B with the pointer. And if you couple that with the ring finger going to 7 of the G, you get some really cool sounds as well. Okay, so that's kind of in the middle of this chord, all those notes were, and one beneath it obviously with going to that low D note. That's kind of, thinking of it in the middle of the chord. Now swap out your pinky with your ring, and now we're going to explore some ideas above the chord. Okay, so first idea is hammering on the pinky to 8 of the B. Okay, super cool idea. That's adding in the 9th basically. We're not going to be too worried about the tones we're adding in because they're going to be added in for a short period of time. We're not really planning on sustaining them. They're just kind of added in and then we're good to go. So we're more than anything getting used to hearing chords with movement within them. If you might have been just used to playing like an F, just like that, and just strumming it for however long. Now we're just kind of conditioning our ear to get used to hearing these moving notes within a chord. So that's the first idea. The next idea is add the pinky to 8 of the high E. Now we get a really big power chord. We get basically the root, the 5th, the root, and then the 5th again. So each note is doubled. Okay, now this is really cool. We can do a 3-string bar with a pointer finger. So it's barring G, B, and high E. We get like a nice F major chord. So we can come down to the pointer, hammer on the pinky, you got all those ideas up there, so you can just experiment with that as well. Okay. So pretty neat. Okay, so we're going to explore one more quick idea, which is like a kind of an older school sliding fourths idea, which is used a lot in rhythm licks. I did a lesson on this a long time back. I don't even remember the name of the lesson, to be honest with you guys. Sorry about that, but I'll just show you this idea that I'm using. So we're going to take this part of the chord right here, 5 of the G, 6 of the B, and just slide it up 2 frets. Okay, so pretty neat little idea for sure. Okay, so that's another idea that you can use. Just slide that up. So altogether, we get a lot of ideas just based around a single power chord. Now your guys' homework is move that power chord into some other places. Again, this is all based off of a major chord. So this won't work if you're trying to, like, right here I'm thinking F major. It's not going to work if you're trying to think F minor. It's just, we'll have to go over those ideas in a later lesson. But for now, just experiment with this, you know, move it all around. We've got a lot of ideas inside that little chord. And then that low D, exchanging your ring for your pinky. All those higher notes. So we have a whole bunch of ideas there now to experiment with in that sliding fourth idea. Okay, so plenty of ideas to keep you guys busy there. I just recommend getting comfortable just doing that for a little while, vamping with that, and then going down to E flat right here, 2 frets lower, then back up and just experiment with all those same little rhythm licks and finding the stuff that you guys think sounds really good, will work for your playing. Alright guys, so probably the best way to get comfortable with this idea is just to turn on, like, you know, a drum machine or a metronome or something. Just make sure that you have some kind of time so you're feeling like where each bar is. And then just sit down with the idea for a while and just see what you can come up with. You know, a lot of times instead of working out individual licks and stuff, it's a little bit more conducive just to sit down and just see what comes out as you start playing once you have kind of the framework of this idea in place, which you should after this lesson. And I think you're going to find that you're going to, if you're not already, you're going to fall a lot more in love with rhythm playing, because this just adds a lot of new ideas and a lot of new fun sounds to rhythm playing. And it also can translate into your lead playing as well. So yeah, that's a lesson. Next week we'll explore some more ideas kind of around this Hendrix style of rhythm guitar playing. But yeah, that concludes the lesson for the week. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you next week.